everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Maria and it is super hot here in California and it's in the 100-degree weather, but as you can see by the title, I'm super here for fall. I love fall. Fall is one of my favorite seasons, and if you are like me and are obsessed with fall and fall enthusiasts, then make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you do not miss out on any of my videos, because I will be posting a lot more fall videos for 2023. And for those of you who are just not really ready for fall yet, just make sure that you come back when you are ready for fall and we can enjoy fall together. But let's get started into this makeup tutorial. So for bronzer, we are going to be using this one by Tarte, and it's their Double Duty Beauty Warm Bronze, and I really do like this one, so this is the one that we are going to be using today. Just placing that on our cheekbones, and there we go. I'm going to use a lighter shade on my nose so it doesn't look too harsh. So when you do blend your contour, your bronzer, you want to make sure that you blend it towards your hairline instead of like towards the center. And when you are blending your contour and your bronzer, you want to make sure that you are lifting your face instead of dragging it down. I'm trying to like blend out any harsh lines that there may be, but don't worry if you do end up having like a harsh line across your face. We are going to be fixing it. We are not just going to be leaving it like that. So just make sure you are like pushing it up, because that way it lifts your face instead of dragging it down. And since you do want to like push it up, it doesn't go for the jawline. For the jawline, when you are going to be contouring, you want to make sure that you are bringing it down. That way, if you bring it up, it doesn't look like you have a beard. And if you bring it down, it just looks a lot more chiseled and defined, as you guys can see. And don't worry if it is like really dark right here, because we are going to be using our beauty blender, and we're just going to be making sure that everything is just really nice blended and there are no harsh lines. Again, so we are just going to be taking our beauty blender, and whatever is left from that foundation, we are just going to be making sure that everything is nice and blended. So I already did that on this side, so we are just going to be going over so there are no harsh lines. And once again, we are going to be doing this on our jawline. So for the nose contour, we are going to be using this one by e.l.f., and it's their Halo Glow Wand in the shade Light Medium. So for my nose contour, I do like blending it with a brush that is like this. That way it is more precise with contouring instead of using my sponge, because if I use my sponge, I have done it before and it's not really as like precise and as snatched as it would be with a brush. So I'm just blending out those lines that I have put on my nose, and I am going to be bringing that where my brow is. I know it looks a little crazy right now, but just trust the process and it's going to all turn out. Just watch. So I just applied some concealer in the center of my nose, and I used the Tarte Ultra Creamy, and this is the Shape Tape, and it's just the creamier version of it. So I'm just lightly just pushing that concealer into my nose and blending it. I don't really want to go outside of the lines. I still want to keep it inside, that way it can give that illusion of a slim nose. Now I'm just going over with whatever is left on the product of this brush, and I'm just making sure I do repeat the process all over again until I am happy with what I have. So for blush, we are going to be using this one by Rare Beauty, and it's in the shade Encourage. And you want to make sure you don't put a lot of it, because these are really pigmented. So if you haven't used them, just be aware, a little goes a long way with these. I love this shade. I think it looks so pretty on my skin tone. I just really like it. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the description box what your favorite Rare Beauty blush shade is. And for highlighter, we are going to be using this one by Danessa Myricks, and it's their Vision Flush highlighter in the shade Tiara. And now we are just going to be blending this out with our beauty blender. And I did put this on the bridge of my nose, and I just love how it just gives this beautiful glowy finish to the skin. And I really like how this looks, you guys. If you guys haven't checked this out, this is like one of my favorite items, and like the few items that I do have from Danessa Myricks, this has to be like one of my favorite ones. I just really love how it gives this beautiful glow to the skin. It's not like heavy highlighter look on your skin. It gives you like this really pretty glow. It looks really nice, you guys. It looks really nice on camera, and it looks much nicer in person for sure. Like you guys can see for yourself, this is really pretty. It looks really like glass-like and glowy. It's beautiful. So for concealer, I almost forgot, but for concealer, we are going to be using the same one that I used to to conceal my nose. And this is the creamier version of the Shape Tape. And I'm just going to be putting this underneath my eyes. And again, we are just going to be putting this over here to lift the face instead of it dragging down. And I'm going to be adding a little bit of that concealer onto my lids. That way we can prep them for that eyeshadow. So I'm just going to be setting my under eyes now with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish in medium 2. And I do like to apply this powder on the areas that I do get oily, so in my T-zone, which is my forehead, and around my cheeks. And I'm very lightly going to be baking with the Huda Beauty baking powder in the shade Pound Cake, and I really love the combination of these two. I feel like they give you such a airbrush, flawless, poreless, beautiful skin finish, and I really love how it makes your skin look. And I'm very lightly going to be baking, and make sure that you don't go in straight directly underneath your eyes, because if not, it's going to be very, very drying under your eyes. So I always just like to just make sure I tap off any of the excess, and you see all of that just came off, and make sure you don't have a lot. And that way you just set your under eyes, and it's still going to give you that beautiful flawless finish underneath without it being super dry. And I like going in with the Charlotte Tilbury first, and then I like going in with this one. You could bake, and sometimes I just like going in again with my puff, and I just go on the other side. And I just feel like it really just does save you from all that like excess powder that you are not going to be using. You're just going to be wasting. And I just feel like, you see it, I'm just using whatever is left on the back of my hand and just nicely pressing into the skin. So I remember like contemplating whether I should get this powder or not, because I had heard that it was like really drying under your eyes, and after seeing it out of stock for such a long time, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get it, and I'm gonna try to figure out a way for it not to like be super drying under my eyes. And I think this is the best technique I have found that has worked for me. So for those of you who do have pretty dry under eyes like myself, just be very gentle when you are going to be using this powder, because it is so beautiful, and it really does like make your skin like super flawless, but it can also be overly drying if you use it in an excessive way. So make sure you are going very gentle, and like I said, just make sure you are tapping off the excess on the back of your hand, and just whatever is like on the puff, just make sure you are pressing it and tapping it into your skin, and you'll be good to go. Also, for those of you who have not tried it and are really sensitive to fragrance, this powder is really fragranced. Personally, to me, that doesn't really bother me, but for those of you who do have sensitive skin or just don't really like fragrance being in your makeup products, just be aware that this is really fragrant. So something I like to do is I like getting a big fluffy brush, and I just like tapping it, and then I just tap off the excess, and I do like to put it, just nicely run it through my jawline. That way that makeup and that foundation and contour that we did have, it does set, because sometimes I have found myself that whenever I like look down, it ends up feeling kind of like sticky. So I have realized that when I do like set it with some powder, it just makes it like feel not so sticky. So I feel like that's a good trick for some of you guys who find that your makeup is really sticky on your jawline. So finally, we are doing our eyes now. And when I first saw this palette, I got it like around February, I believe, and when I saw it, I immediately thought I am definitely going to be using this palette so much more during the fall season, so I am so excited to be sharing with you guys. I have already done a couple looks with it in the past, but for those of you guys who have just started watching my channel, this is the Huda Beauty Mattes palette, and this is the Warm Matte Obsessions, and as you guys can see, it's so pretty, you guys. It's like really nice, and for me, it just like screams out fall. All these oranges, rich chocolatey browns, I feel like these are all colors that scream out fall to me. What do you guys think? And not to mention, these are really, really pigmented, you guys. A little goes a long way with these shadows, which I do love. And here, I'll just swatch like some of these for you guys so you guys can see what I mean. I'm sorry if like my arm swatches are not the best, but do you guys see how pigmented this is? Just ignore the fact that I don't have my nails done. I'm hoping to get them done really soon. But anyways, yeah, they're really pigmented. These shadows are beautiful, and I have never tried Huda Beauty eyeshadows in the past, so when I got this, I was like really nervous because I didn't really know what to expect. But not gonna lie, this does not disappoint. They are super pigmented, and I love that it's like really small and compact. I feel like you guys can definitely use this when you are traveling, and it also has a mirror, so just ignore the fact that it's super dirty. By the way, I have not washed any of my brushes, so I've definitely been procrastinating and I have to get back on track. But for those of you who are on the go or just like me and haven't been washing your brushes, which is not good, you should be washing brushes. But anyways, if you have not washed them, all I've been doing is I'm getting a makeup wipe and I'm just like literally cleaning it up and just making sure it's nice and clean for the most part. And I'm just getting a tissue and I'm just making sure it's not wet and it's just drying and it's taking off any of that excess powder that it may have from before. I normally get my cinema makeup cleaning, insert a picture, and I usually clean them that way whenever I just don't have time to wash them. But I honestly don't remember where it's at. I don't remember where I put it, so this is what I've been doing, and it really works well too. So just saying, if you don't have the money to get the makeup cinema makeup remover, just make sure that you just get a wipey and a tissue and just start taking off the eyeshadow that I has from before, and it will work fine. But please just make sure that you do wash your brushes. I'm definitely going to be doing that tonight. I have a lot of them, by the way, so I'm probably going to end up sleeping late again. So just don't procrastinate on washing your brushes. So I went ahead and did this eye off camera, and I am going to be zooming you guys in so we can do this next eye. So since they don't have names on them, I'm just going to be pointing to them, and we are going to be starting off with the shade right here, and I am going to be putting this all over the crease. Just don't forget to tap off the excess because these are super pigmented. So we are going to be putting this on our crease right here. So we are going to be trying to focus this shadow particularly out on the outer corner right here. So we are going to be just blending this, and keep in mind it's better to go in little by little with a product than just rushing and making sure, because if not, everything's going to look really patchy and really bad, and that's definitely something that you do not want. So it's better to start small and just go and just work your way up. So like I said, I'm just concentrating this eye, just concentrating this shadow on the outer corner, because on the inner part of our lid, we are going to be going with some concealer. We're just going to be cleaning it up just like I did on this side. But for now, we're just going to be working this color on the outer corner. Okay, so next we are going to be going with the shade that we just used on our crease, but the one below that, which is this orange shade. And we are just going to be using like flat brush like this, and we are just going to be using this one, and again just tap off the excess. And we are going to be focusing this shade below the first one that we used, so it's not all the way in our brow bone. We are going to be going under that one, so we are going to be placing it right here. And again, we're just going to be trying to focus that more on the outer corner than towards the inner part of our eye. And don't worry if it's not perfect, because we are going to be cleaning it up with some concealer. And next we are going to be going in with this burnt orange shade and this chocolatey brown right here. And again, we are just focusing those two shadows on the outer part of our eye. And whatever we do have from that eyeshadow, we are going to be just blending those two shadows together and making sure they look nice and blended. So don't worry if it's not like the neatest or the nicest right here. We are going to be cleaning it up with concealer, so don't worry about that. So again, we are just like making sure these two are nice. Now we are going to be going back in with that same brush that we used, that first one and that first shadow, and we are just going to be using that first shadow that we initially started on our crease as a base, and we're just going to be making sure that everything is nice and blended and everything just meshes together. So for the bottom lash line, we're going to be getting this red shade, this burnt red orange shade, and this chocolatey brown, and we are going to be putting that on our bottom lash line, and then we're going to be blending and smoking it out with this orange shade. So I went ahead and just used some concealer to clean up the lid, and I'm just going to be using my Charlotte Tilbury setting powder, and I am just going to be setting that concealer that I just did, and I am just pressing it down. And as you guys can see, I do like how, since the setting powder, it does have like a golden yellow undertone, I feel like it just looks really pretty with this eye look, just because it doesn't look super like white, or I feel like it just adds that warmth that I wanted to the lid, which I really like. So I am just going to be going back with that same brush that I used with that burnt orange and brown shade, and I am just going to be making sure everything is nice and ties together. That way we don't have like this like harsh line separating both of the colors. So I am just going to be doing that, and I am going to be adding my lashes off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay you guys, so I forgot to mention, I did end up using that chocolatey brown that I did use on the outer corner right here, and I just did a wing and an inner corner wing as well. So, and then after I just like blended it a little bit with that same brush that I used with the burnt orange and the chocolate brown. And anyways, I am going to be using this ColourPop cream gel liner in the shade Get Paid, and it's a beautiful like copper liner, and I feel like this is just perfect for fall. I'm sorry, let me try that again. Oh my gosh, okay. You guys see that? It's like really pretty. It's this metallic copper shade. It's really pretty, you guys. I can definitely see myself using this a lot more during the fall season. I just think it's perfect for the waterline. By the way, for those of you wondering what lashes I'm using the ones by Kiss in the style Ruffle. Bronzing up the skin with my HUDA bronzer from Benefit, and it's already hit pan. I'm just going to be going with a nice fluffy brush, tapping the excess, and I'm just going to be lightly bronzing up the skin. And I love this bronzer. It's really pigmented, and I just really like how it just really nicely gives that warmth to the skin. And just going underneath the jawline as well. And I am going to be using an OG highlighter from 2016, and you have guessed it correctly if you guessed Champagne Pop. This is literally a ride or die in like every girl's makeup bag. This highlighter is intense. I remember when we used to pack this on back then. It was intense. I think I went a little too crazy, so now we are just gonna be blending everything out and making sure it looks a little bit more natural with our beauty blender. So I am just gonna be bouncing this all over my face until I like how it looks. I did just go ahead and line my lips with the Huda Beauty Lip Contour 2.0 in Sandy Beige. Slightly dabbing Cover Star by Charlotte Tilbury in the center, and I'm just blending it out with my finger. Lastly, we are going to be using our Morphe setting spray and just setting our face. I love how finely mist this is. So this is the final result. What do you guys think? I am honestly really happy with how this look came out, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And don't forget that if you did like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos.